Hello everyone, Oscar Mancillas, week 2. Today I'm going to cover public administration theory in practice. So before I get into each one of the theories, I do want to briefly frame how through this presentation I'm going to connect classical public administration concepts to the daily work happening in local government, where terms like bureaucracy or administrative theory can sometimes seem like a concept, but I can tell you that in practice they continue shaping how cities function. Now, in my work across building and safety, community and economic development, and other divisions, I have seen how these theories influence everything from permitting, plan review, inspections, leadership approaches, housing development, customer service, and public accountability. Even though thinkers like Max Weber, Leonard White, and Mary Parker Follett wrote many decades ago, I can tell you that local governments still face many of the same challenges, like efficiency, professionalism, transparency, organizational change, and just maintaining public trust. Now, throughout this presentation, I'm going to connect their ideas to real municipal examples, including permitting workflows, development pressures, cross-department coordination, and staff engagement. Overall, the goal is to show you that public administration isn't just historical or academic, because it still guides how modern cities operate and serve their communities. Now that I introduced the purpose of the presentation, let's take a closer look at the key themes we'll be exploring and how they connect classical theory to real municipal work. Now, public administration theory can feel academic if all you're doing is reading, but once you see how it influences day-to-day government operations, it all connects. In local agencies, these concepts directly shape how we manage permitting, inspections, development reviews, customer service, and organizational leadership. Now, speaking from experience working in the public sector for over 20 years, I've seen how the ideas developed by Weber, White, and Follett continue influencing management decisions today. Whether we're balancing efficiency with accountability or implementing operational improvements, many of the same issues they wrote about back in the day remain active challenges today. This presentation is going to connect those classical theories to real-world examples involving permitting operations, housing pressures, leadership, and organizational change. Now, having set the stage with an overview of what we'll cover, the next step is understanding why these theories continue to matter in local government today. A key idea I emphasize in the readings is that public administration is fundamentally about implementation. Policies only become meaningful when agencies can carry them effectively. For residents, public agencies are judged almost entirely on service delivery. For us, like in the development department, permitting timelines, inspections, responsiveness, communication, and follow through. At the same time, local governments must balance competing responsibilities, improving efficiency and customer service while maintaining legal compliance, transparency, and keeping public safety at the forefront. Even though these theories were developed a long time ago, the same tensions around accountability, efficiency, professionalism, and trust continue shaping municipal operations today. With that context in mind, let's begin with one of the foundational thinkers in public administration, Max Weber, whose work still shapes how government agencies are structured. Max Weber believed government organizations should operate through legal rational authority rather than personal influence or favoritism. Now, on page 63, Weber highlights fixed duties, structure, administrative supervision, written documentation, and technical expertise as core elements of bureaucracy. What stood out to me the most is his argument about bureaucracy, that it supports consistency and fairness in government decisions. Standardized procedures help reduce choices and promote accountability. In municipal government, Weber's ideas remain visible. Permit review processes, inspections, building code enforcement, and documentation requirements all rely on structural authority and professional expertise. However, Weber also acknowledged a potential weakness. Overly rigid processes can limit flexibility and responsiveness. Now that I cover Weber's core concepts, we can see how his ideas show up in everyday municipal functions, especially in permitting and inspection workflows. Modern permitting operations reflect many of Weber's administrative principles, especially regarding documentation, consistency, and accountability. In my experience, electronic plan review systems and standardized procedures have improved efficiency while maintaining defensible records and regulatory transparency. Permit decisions carry legal and safety implications, so consistency and documentation are crucial. Record retention, interdepartmental coordination, and clearly redefined procedures all support defensible decision making. The challenge today is improving customer service and efficiency without compromising compliance or accountability. In many ways, technology has allowed bureaucracy and systems to evolve while preserving their core purpose. Now, while Weber's focused on structure, Leonard White took a different angle by emphasizing professionalism and evolving role of administrators in government. Leonard White emphasized that public administrators should function as a professional field grounded in competence, expertise, and administrative responsibility. On page 68, he argued that management had evolved into a profession requiring specialized training. On page 69, he describes administration as a unified process across all levels of government. Now, what stood out to me is White's belief that public decisions should rely on professional judgment rather than political pressure. This remains especially relevant in building and safety, where technical decisions directly affect life safety, liability, housing development, and economic growth. California buildings regulations are complex and always evolving. This places significant responsibility on inspectors, engineers, and plan reviewers to make informed and defensible decisions. Now, to connect White's theory to modern practice, let's look at how these ideas apply to one of the most pressing challenges California cities face today: housing development pressures. One of the most significant challenges facing California is balancing housing production goals with public safety responsibilities. Local governments are under pressure to accelerate development timelines and meet state housing mandates, but that urgency doesn't eliminate the need for technical compliance and life safety protections. In my experience, many projects involve political attention, public pressure, and tight timelines. Even in those situations, public administrators must ensure adopted codes and safety standards are met. This reflects White's belief that administrators must exercise professional judgment even under external pressures. It also highlights a broader change, balancing development goals, customer expectations, regulatory requirements, and public safety simultaneously. Shifting from professionalism to leadership, Mary Parker Follett introduces a more human-centered approach that aligns closely with today's organizational expectations. Mary Parker Follett's theories feel especially modern because she focused on organizational relationships, communication, and collaborative leadership. On page 79, she introduces the law of the situation, arguing that decisions should respond to the needs of the situation rather than just hierarchy or authority. Her ideas align closely with modern leadership practices, teamwork, communication, and employee involvement. Follett believed in power with rather than power over, emphasizing shared responsibilities and collaboration with problem solving. In local government, operational improvements rarely succeed through top down directives alone. Long term success depends on communication, organizational culture, and employee ownership. Now, Follett's ideas become especially clear when we look at how organizational change works in practice, especially when staff engagement is essential for long-term success. My experience implementing operational improvements has shown that successful organizational change relies on structure and communication than policy direction. Initiatives such as self-certification programs, customer service enhancements, or process improvements require coordination across multiple departments and stakeholders. When staff participates in developing solutions, implementation is more effective and more sustainable. Employees are more supportive when they understand the purpose behind change and have a choice in shaping them. This reflects Follett's leadership philosophy of collaboration and shared problem solving. In modern public administration, leadership culture directly affects internal operations and the public experience with government services. Now, do these theories still work today? Having explored each thinker and connected their theories to real examples, the next question is how well these ideas hold up in modern public sector environment. Now, what is most interesting is that modern public administration doesn't rely on a single theory. Effective agencies blend multiple approaches depending on context. Weber's bureaucracy still provides structure, consistency, and accountability. White's professional administration remains essential as government work becomes more technical. Follett's collaborative leadership matches modern expectations around communication and teamwork. So today's public sector also requires flexibility, technology integration, customer responsiveness, and adaptability. Public administration is most effective when structure, expertise, leadership, and collaboration are balanced, not treated as competing ideas. All right. So, in conclusion, you know, bringing it all together, these theories, the readings reinforce that public administration theory is not just historical or academic. These concepts continue shaping how local governments manage growth, deliver services, maintain accountability, and respond to public expectations. Babers emphasized structure and accountability. White emphasized professionalism and administrative competence. And Follett emphasized collaboration and human-centered leadership. In my work in municipal government, all three perspectives continue to be relevant. Whether managing permitting operations, supporting development projects, improving processes, or balancing efficiency with public safety, these theories still influence real world decision making. Thank you guys. Have a good one. See you next time.